Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Faye Watt, and let's queer up drag culture. DeSantis loses appeal, and court blocks Florida's drag show ban as unconstitutional. On Tuesday, a federal appeals court upheld an injunction against the state of Florida that barred drag shows in public. The three-judge panel voted 2-1 to uphold the lower court's decision, describing the law as overly broad and vaguely written. The case will now return to the Middle District of Florida, where a federal bench trial can be scheduled. The original lawsuit was filed by Hamburger Mary's of Orlando in 2023, stating that drag ban championed by Ron DeSantis violated free speech. Hamburger Mary's is known for its drag performances, including a family-friendly drag brunch on Sunday. Venues that violated the law face fines and the possibility that their liquor licenses could be suspended or revoked. Individuals could be charged with a misdemeanor crime. Brianne Wright, a spokesperson for Governor DeSantis' office, said, quote, "No one has a constitutional right to perform sexual routines in front of little kids. We will do everything possible to have this lawless decision overturned," end quote. Critics of the law have called it an unconstitutional attempt to stifle free speech and freedom of expression. Damn right. Yes. I'm glad that this happened. All right. Let's see. The wording is way too vague. OK, and it caused so much fear and so much loss of drag wages, of our queens missing out on getting gigs, on organizations and reputable locations of places being afraid to book our girls because of this ban. No one wants to lose their liquor license. You know, our house was there. Rocco and them were there fighting. They got their lawyers involved. They were like, we're not playing. We are not stopping drag for Ron DeSantis and his cronies, you know? It's performance, okay? Drag art, drag entertainment is performance. It's not fetish. You guys have fetishized it, okay? There are no sexual routines that happen in front of children, all right? No drag queen is exposing themselves. Do you know how many tights these queens have to wear? There is no way they could expose themselves to your children, all right? Yeah. And the wording is just absurd that they're coming up with this.
Well, it's so vague that it's a slippery slope. I mean, you look at performers at Disney.
Yep.
They're in drag.
Yep.
You know, you got Tinkerbell to come to a children's birthday party. That's drag. You know, and then unfortunately, it can get slipperier. You know, you have somebody who, I was a drag performer. I am a drag performer. And if I left my house, and my house was right across the street from elementary school, in drag, which I typically did to get to a good booking, I'm against, there it is, against the law. You know, so it was so vague.
Yeah.
And the last time that you saw a child at a bar, please tell me no. Like, let's talk about the logistics behind this. I mean, public venues. Okay, well, that is such a broad term. You know, if I'm pumping gas, which I have in drag before, that's a public venue.
It is. Yeah. No, I mean, again, extremely vague. Extremely vague. And again, just to shut us down. Just to shut our entertainers down. Yep. Just to keep us quiet.
This is 0 for 2 for Ron DeSantis against us, okay? He tried with Disney. It didn't work. And he's now losing again. And he will keep losing because this is wrong. They're using protection of the children as an excuse to erasing our existence. This is what they're doing with this. Who doesn't want to protect children? Of course, everybody does.
Because it's that wording.
That's that wording. So that they use in order to go against the LGBTQ community. In everything we do, books. I mean, this is the government that was defending, in fact, Ron DeSantis government defending the rights of, parents to decide for their children if they wanted a vaccine or not.
Yeah.
He's here deciding what we could see or not see.
Or not see, you know. I mean, and there are raunchy drag queens. We all know raunchy drag queens, right? And they are right here, bodybuilder, right? You know, we know raunchy drag queens. We also know family-friendly drag queens that want to read to kids. Go figure why. I don't know, right? But they want to, and they should be allowed to. It's an entertainment. It's entertainment, okay? When there's a comedian, there's some comedians that are racist, disgusting, that you don't want to go see. So guess what? You don't go see them. That's
well,
that.
Here's the thing, too. So, there are definitely queens that do things that are inappropriate for children to be around.
Yes.
However, those kinds of performances are generally done in spaces that don't allow children
that are 18 and over.
And we as adults, we have the right to have our own cabaret shows, our freedom of expression that we want to go to. The kinds of things that they're trying to conflate those types of performances with public performances, any type of public a presentation of a drag queen at a pride where it is not sexual in nature in that way. And so the whole reason, as Dino was saying, is that it's not really just about drag queens. They're using that to get to gay people. They want to erase gay people. So if we can make them shut down their pride because they don't want to have drag queens and they have to go indoors some other place, then we don't have to see all these gay people out on the street being in our community and influencing our community and being themselves. So it's just, anybody looking at the story knows it's really just an attack on gay people. It is not about the children. You all know that it's not about the children. And if there's any space, for instance, with Palace, they take their drag outside onto the sidewalk. People know what is there, just like we know what goes on in Mardi Gras. We know what goes on in the Naked Chicago bike, thing there.
Fantasy festing.
There's certain things there. And if you don't want your children to be around that, then you don't take them to that, okay? You know what is going on and what district you're in, and you don't do certain things.
All right, the drag queen's going to talk.
Drag queen, okay, last comment, drag queen.
As the forever reigning mixed Marys of Hamburger Marys, and as the drag queen who lost 2 gigs when this whole drag ban legislation bullshit started happening, I'm very delighted to hear this story. It was stupid from the start, and I'm glad to realize that the figures above realize how stupid this was. Because they're not attacking burlesque performers. They're not attacking go-go dancers or strippers. They're specifically targeting overtly queer figures in the community. You all know this. I'm not a huge kid person. I don't like kids. I definitely don't do drag for children at all.
Yeah.
My gigs are in spaces where it is 18 and above, and I barely like the 18-year-old.
Yeah, you do 21.
If you ain't old enough to drink, get thee away from me. So like my presentation is for strictly adults. Children, there are safe spaces for you to experience drag where it's basically a spectacle. My definition of drag bodybuilder is it's a spectacle. It's somebody who is bright, bold, loud, and confident. And with that platform, they should have something important to say. They should. They don't always, but they should. So once I have your attention as a drag person, as a drag performer, as a drag queen, it's my responsibility to be very responsible with the things that I say and present. And I do that by making sure that I perform in spaces where I feel it's appropriate to, such as the Gathering down in South Beach, such as Miami Pool House, such as Tribe Tea Lounge on Miami 20 such as the Bodybuilder Booty Camp, which is happening twice a month, where it's 18 and up. So it's my responsibility to present that to the world. With that being said, I appreciate this story so very much. I appreciate all the comments that you all are saying, because it's comforting to know that A, y'all appreciate the art of drag. That's just really comforting as a drag queen to hear. And also B, you realize how ridiculous this was straight out the gate. They were targeting drag queens, but the drag queen was just a queer person, a gay person, a non-cis hetero white person is who they're going for. Because once they get the drag queens, they're going for everybody else, baby. Ain't nobody safe in this goddamn state under DeSantis. Okay? So that's what the drag queen and the forever reigning mixed Marys has to say.
And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.